President Donald Trump has once again shaken the global trade landscape, this time with an explosive announcement that could send shockwaves through the automotive, pharmaceutical, and semiconductor industries. Trump, widely known for his hardline trade policies, declared that he is considering imposing a massive 25% tariff on car imports, alongside similarly steep levies on drugs and chips. This move has put the whole of Europe on red alert. In today's video, we will explain all there is to know about the proposed tariffs on cars, why Trump is doing this, and what the implications are for both Europe and America. Before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing so you will be the first to know when we release new videos. We begin by first examining the history of car imports in America for some crucial context. Historically, the U.S. has had a complex relationship with car imports. The American auto industry flourished in the mid-20th century, but the rise of Japanese and European manufacturers in the 1970s and 1980s presented fierce competition. Over the decades, free trade agreements and globalization allowed foreign car makers to gain significant market share, often at the expense of American auto workers. Trump, echoing his long-standing America First agenda, argues that the current trade structure unfairly disadvantages the U.S., with foreign markets keeping American cars out while flooding the U.S. market with their own vehicles. By increasing tariffs, Trump hopes to force manufacturers to shift production to American soil. Trump, who has long railed against what he perceives as an unfair global trading system, signaled that these tariffs could climb even higher as the year progresses. But will this strategy work? Or is it a high-stakes gamble that could backfire? Here's how President Trump announced the new 25% tariffs on imported vehicles.
Yeah, I probably will tell you that on April 2nd, but it'll be in the neighborhood of 25%.
What about semiconductors and pharmaceuticals?
It'll be 25% and higher, and it'll go very substantially higher over a course of a year. But we want to give them time to come in because, as you know, when they come into the United States and they have their plant or factory here, there is no tariff. So we want to give them a little bit of a chance. Yes, thank you.
This latest move is a significant escalation in what is shaping up to be a fresh trade war under his leadership. Trump has indicated that details on the automotive tariffs will be finalized by April 2, a date that could mark a turning point in U.S. economic relations with its key trading partners. The timing is no coincidence. The announcement comes as a European Union delegation lands in Washington in an urgent bid to prevent an all-out trade conflict. Mind you, his previous tariffs on steel and aluminum, set to take effect next month, have drawn sharp rebukes from global trade partners. His administration had also slapped China with a 10% levy, further aggravating tensions with Beijing. Canada and Mexico narrowly avoided similar tariffs after striking last-minute trade deals with the U.S., but the European Union finds itself next in Trump's crosshairs. This has left everyone wondering, is the world on the brink of another economic standoff? As European Trade Commissioner Maroš Šefčovič landed in Washington for high-stakes negotiations, Trump doubled down on his accusations, calling out the European Union's trade practices as unfair. He insisted that Europe has been exploiting the U.S. for decades, saying,
"The European Union has been very unfair to us. They don't take our cars, they don't take our farm products, they don't take almost anything. They take very little. And we're going to have to straighten that out."
His message was clear. The U.S. would no longer tolerate a one-sided trading relationship. Trump even claimed that his aggressive approach was already yielding results, suggesting that the European Union had signaled a willingness to cut its 10% tariff on U.S. car imports to a level closer to the 2.5% that the U.S. currently charges. However, the European Commission quickly dismissed this assertion, clarifying that no concrete offer had been made. The European Commission released a statement saying that any tariff reductions must be mutually beneficial and negotiated within a fair and rules-based framework, emphasizing the European Union's commitment to constructive dialogue rather than economic warfare. In light of all these tensions, it is now time for us to consider the impact of this particular move from Trump. The potential repercussions of this move could be devastating for the European Union. especially in its key export industries. European carmakers from Germany's BMW and Mercedes-Benz to Italy's Fiat and France's Renault could face unprecedented challenges if their vehicles suddenly become significantly more expensive in the lucrative U.S. market. The European Union exports over 1 million cars annually to the U.S., and a 25% tariff would make those vehicles far less competitive against American-made alternatives. This could lead to sharp declines in sales, production cuts, and job losses across Europe's auto sector. The pharmaceutical industry, another major European Union export sector, is also in the firing line. If U.S. tariffs on European drugs rise dramatically, European pharmaceutical giants such as Bayer and Sanofi could see their American market share shrink as costs surge. This could disrupt global supply chains and even impact the availability of critical medications for U.S. patients. Given the immense economic stakes, European leaders now find themselves in a race against time to prevent a full-scale trade war with Washington. You must also note that the impact of Trump's tariff plan wouldn't be limited to Europe. American consumers would also feel the sting. If foreign cars become significantly more expensive, the U.S. auto market could see another wave of inflationary pressure, exacerbating the already soaring costs of new vehicles. Over the past 5 years, car prices in the U.S. have jumped by 20%, driven by supply chain disruptions and increased production costs. A fresh 25% tariff on imports could push prices even higher, making new cars unaffordable for millions of Americans and potentially slowing auto sales across the country. This move could also have unintended consequences for U.S. automakers. Companies like Ford and General Motors, while benefiting from reduced competition, still rely on imported parts to manufacture their vehicles. Higher tariffs on foreign auto components could lead to increased production costs, forcing these firms to either absorb the losses or pass them on to consumers. In essence, what Trump touts as a policy to protect American manufacturing could ironically end up raising prices across the board for American buyers. The entire world could also be affected by this move. Trump's 25% tariff on car imports could send shockwaves through the global economy, disrupting supply chains, escalating trade tensions, and triggering retaliatory tariffs from major trading partners like the European Union, China, and Japan. As the cost of vehicles and key industrial components rises, automakers worldwide may be forced to relocate production, cut jobs, or pass higher prices onto consumers. This move could further strain diplomatic relations, destabilize financial markets, and deepen inflationary pressures, ultimately risking a full-blown global trade war with unpredictable economic consequences. So, what happens next? Will Trump's aggressive tariff strategy force trade partners to cave to U.S. demands, or will it provoke retaliatory measures, triggering a global trade war? If the European Union responds with counter tariffs on American goods, industries beyond automobiles and pharmaceuticals, such as agriculture and technology, could be caught in the crossfire. As tensions rise and negotiations unfold, the world watches closely, bracing for what could be one of the most consequential economic battles of the decade. One thing is certain, the stakes have never been higher. Will Trump's bold gamble pay off, or is he steering the global economy toward a dangerous collision course? Only time will tell. Your perspective matters. Who do you think will be more affected by Trump's 25% tariffs on imported vehicles? European auto manufacturers or American buyers? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our current affairs channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our informative future videos.